Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists veterinarians with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about veterinary production pay. So, how a veterinary associate can be paid in a productivity model. There are many different ways to kind of calculate productivity, and it's kind of up to the practice which method they use, but I'm going to break down probably the most popular methods to use. First, the veterinary industry uses the ProSal method quite frequently, PROSAL. And so in the ProSal method, essentially the veterinary associate gets paid a base salary, and then they would also get a percentage of the collections that the practice receives for their personal services provided, usually somewhere between 18 to 25% overall. So the goal of ProSal is that the compensation paid to the veterinary associate is somewhere between 18 to 25% of their total net collections. Now, net collections simply means any money that the practice receives for the professional services rendered by the veterinarian. Most veterinary practices will exclude a number of things. So maybe they're selling, some kind of food to a dog or a cat that they use, or any kind of products. Trimming, nails, those types of things could be excluded from the veterinarian's net collections. It would be, any procedures that they do, any initial visits with the pet, that type of thing, that would go into what their production is. And the reason why the practices use productivity pay instead of just a guaranteed base is any kind of production incentivizes the veterinarian to be more efficient with their time, and then ultimately that will result in more collections to the practice. I don't know, it's probably 50-50 of places that use just a straight guaranteed base versus some kind of productivity model. It's pretty rare for a vet to have a straight productivity, meaning you get just a percentage of whatever you collect, and that's it, no guaranteed base at all. It's especially concerning if you are a new veterinarian or even new to a practice, and you're only being paid on productivity from the very beginning, for a number of reasons. One, it takes time for a practice to build up, and so usually somewhere between 12 to 18 months for a practice to reach maturity for a vet. And when you're just coming out, or even if you're just switching from a different clinic to a new one, it just takes time to acclimate, so you're just not going to be as efficient. And then you also are kind of dependent upon the volume of the practice as well. There has, as I'm sure if you're a veterinarian, you are aware, really since COVID happened, there's been a huge shortage of vet techs and other kind of necessary staff to veterinary offices. And so without those support staff available to the vet, their productivity can plummet just simply because they're having to do things that they're normally not used to doing. And so you could enter into a practice and they simply don't have the staff to provide you with, or which allows you to provide efficient care, and your compensation could be much, much lower than you were expecting. The remedy to that is to get a guaranteed base for the first year or two, which allows you to acclimate, get up to speed, build a practice, and then by the time you switch over to some kind of productivity-laden compensation model, you have the volume to support whatever you're looking for financially. So those are some ways that a veterinary practice can calculate production for a veterinary associate. When I say there are a variety of ways, I mean, you could think of hundreds of ways of doing it, but that's kind of the general way, is that you would get a percentage of the actual collections that the practice receives from your professional services, And then kind of the variables will be how much base you get, how often a bonus is paid. If you have a negative balance, meaning if you're paid out a base, but you don't collect, enough to cover that base, will you carry forward a negative balance into the next month? Under the ProSal method, you would. So there's just a lot of variables. So just be careful when you're entering a new job that you're fully aware of how you'll be paid, how the calculation will be done, and then what risk you're going to be at if the volume or the staffing isn't at the level that's needed to provide efficient care. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions about a veterinary employment contract or independent contractor agreement, please feel free to contact my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can reach us to our website listed below as well. All right, thanks for watching the video.